What brings me to this work is the notion of a process that supports, that nourishes, and enables the democratic process. The idea of people being able to provide feedback, to talk about what's important to them, to come to some decision, and then to have that feedback be represented in a way that can be actionable.
I'm a community organizer, have been for 25 years, so my passion has been creating opportunities for people to have a voice in the issues that impact their life, and not only a voice, but having the power to be able to influence decisions that impact their lives.
Pretty much all my life I've had sort of a passion for the idea of democracy, particularly American democracy. I remember as a small boy being very proud of this country, loving this country, the idea that we believe that all people were created equal and that everybody had a voice in government. And I then, of course, as I grew older, coming of age in the 60s, I came to experience the imperfectness of that system.
I think that there is a widely accepted belief in our country especially in the value of democracy, and that people think that people really should have a voice in these kinds of issues that affect their lives, and that's what our country is based on. So I think that that's there, but I think people have gotten increasingly disillusioned because I think there's been no real effective methodology to actually collectivize those voices in a meaningful way.
The America Speaks work is vital to that reconnection and the reformation that must occur if we are to be in a just, sustainable, and participatory civil society in the future.
I truly believe in our democracy in this country. I think there is an ideal that we're always striving for, and I think that what makes a democracy work is when citizens are actively engaged and participating in the democracy.
Problems that we face as a society or in communities or organizations are so complex that no one individual or school of thought or discipline can solve them. I mean, we need to find ways to bring people together.
The opportunity for us to create a safe place for people to have a dialogue from diverse backgrounds and diverse fields, and have a strong sense that their voice will be heard.
When I first learned about AmericaSpeaks, I was like, well, of course, this is a natural. And whenever I get to have the opportunity to work on an AmericaSpeaks project, I'm like so filled. It fills me up as an OD practitioner, and because you don't always get to practice this work, change work, with people who are so committed to that basic value of those principles around democratic processes and giving voice to all.
My passion for this work is giving voice to people who have lost their voice or who have felt that there's no vehicle, there's no one listening. My passion comes from giving them access to decision makers and people who they often feel disconnected from,
and also giving leaders in all sectors a chance to truly hear from people that I think at a deep level they do want to serve and sometimes lose sight of the how.
I think that America Speaks has been a creative way in which people from different environments and intellectual levels and cultures have an opportunity to come together and realize that we are all on this planet together, and what ultimately affects one affects all.
And part of what I love about America Speaks, the difference that I see in individuals that participate. So I think about it in terms of the whole, but it's person by person that I see making the difference.
Oh, well, I like the surprise. You think you know where a conversation is going to go, and there's always a surprise. And the bigger the group, the bigger the surprise. I like that.
Yeah. The passion that I bring to this work is just really enjoying the level of empowerment, someone realizing that through their voice and just a little bit of information, understanding of what's going on in the world, that they can not only just change their lives, but the lives of their family and their community.
It makes it real. It puts into action. And it gives an opportunity, especially to communities who traditionally have been shut out of democratic processes, the opportunity to get engaged.
In reaching people who are the more difficult people to reach, the ones who might perhaps not normally get involved in the democratic process, particularly those who see no point in voting, those who feel that the issues that they're debating are part of what affects their lives, but don't believe that anybody actually is interested in hearing or acting on their opinion and their voice.
My passion is in connecting people to their own voices and their own sense of power.
The point is to really close the gap between the ideals of people's voices being heard and the reality of the fact that many times people just aren't heard.
The real desire to make a fundamental difference in helping bring about public policies that are for the common good. And I believe that what America Speaks brings to democracy is exactly that. In other words, America Speaks technology in a way of involving people and empowering people to participate in the policies that impact them, I believe do result in policies that are for the larger good.
What America Speaks particularly does well is facilitate that process for decision makers to get quality feedback from constituents on major issues so that they can make sound, hopefully, decisions based on that information.
I believe that America Speaks brings, in one word, opportunity. They give communities, individuals, organizations the opportunity to change their mindset, their views, to come together and work with people that they would typically or ordinarily work with, and to listen and to learn all in one day, and then be able to take those tools to change whatever issue or situation they could potentially be facing.
I believe so fully in what it's trying to do, which is to give citizens a real voice in matters that affect them deeply, and to do it in a way with great care and great integrity.
You could take this group of young folks who often their voices aren't heard and give them the opportunity to do so. Just hit home to me about how few chances we as Americans have in our lives and as part of our culture and society to really influence decisions that are made. So on a personal level, it just resonated so much with me, and I realized how much I didn't have the opportunity to make an impact on decisions that were being made about me and for me in my community. And the opportunity to be able to bring that voice to other people is an amazing job. I've got the best job in the world. Many reasons that bring me to this. The people, the process, the belief that this is something that's important that our country, really our world needs.
It's not just for me, it's for the future. Right now, the covenant with America says that the eyes of the future are looking back at us and hoping that we see beyond our time. That means that for us now, we have to be passionate about what we do with democracy, justice, with fairness for all. So that's what brings me to this work, is that I care not only for myself, but for the generations to come. My grandson, his grandchildren, and on and on. The future belongs to those that are not yet here.